Tyler Wall and the Wisconsin Badgers win it in overtime over Iowa. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Slasher U. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Beck. And we're going to break down Wisconsin defeating Iowa 78-75 in overtime. This was a very good game. Big Ten conference games are not going to disappoint this season.
No.
And both of these, for the Hawkeyes Big Ten conference opener on Sunday night, they just missed out on a loss here. Now, I know you're rocking the Ohio State hat here. I feel like you're trying to trigger a few people in here, so I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some of the hate comments as we talk about two of the Big Ten teams that are not Ohio State. I'm probably going to get yelled at just for saying the word and not just having it on the screen. But regardless, this game was really good. And Tyler Wall was one of the guys that I really had to point out initially at the beginning of this one, because 7 of his 21 points were in overtime, and he really shined at the end of this game when it was really needed the most. This game, really throughout was dead even, Steve. They were tied at halftime, and obviously they were tied at the end of the game. It was very even. It just came down to, honestly, Tyler Wall. He was really the guy that was the complete game changer in this game. That's really it. I think we could end the segment right here.
But that's true. And then really, had Iowa prevailed, we'd be talking about the McCaffrey brothers.
Right, we would be, especially Patrick McCaffrey, yeah.
Yeah, and then, of course, I had the bad pun written down on my card that the McCaffrey brothers just hit a wall. But, nice. I like that. But, the fact that you said that really it was a game, a back and forth.
Yeah.
Iowa led for 10 minutes in the second half. Then Wisconsin rallied back. They coughed up an 8-point lead with 54 seconds to go, but still came out, in overtime. This was a big win for Wisconsin.
This was a battle.
Yeah. To have this kind of a win on the road, and in your Big Ten opener, that is just huge. And this Wisconsin team, we've been scolding ourselves all night in different pieces about sleeping on teams or making mistakes. We were snoozing and snoring on Wisconsin. And I think the Big Ten proves you can't snooze just about almost on anybody.
Right.
Any team. Even teams like Rutgers had a big win that nobody expected. So it's going to be fun covering the Big Ten throughout the year. The problem is when conference play starts, it's going to be so hard not to focus on the Big Ten or the Big 12 or the SEC or the ACC or the Big East. It's because there's just so many great teams in these conferences. But I can't wait. And, tip of the hat to Wisconsin. Yes, it's an Ohio State hat. I really put it on, Christian, because I just wanted to show you another thrift store buy that I found today.
It's nifty. Yeah, it is nifty. I like it.
Yeah, for under $2, you got to rock the Ohio State hat. But again, Wisconsin just toughed it out. And I still believe, even with some of their struggles, that Iowa is a Final Four team. I'm going to stick by that until they're not a Final Four team. I have that much faith, and I think the McCaffrey brothers having the type of game that they did, we could expect that, I think, more often. We haven't really seen McCaffrey go off too much, in the early going, but Wisconsin, man, oh man, what a great win on the road. Who do they play next?
For Iowa's got a tough schedule to really, getting into Big Ten play. I don't know if it says that tough. They got to play Southeast Missouri State, and then they play Eastern Illinois, and then they head on into Nebraska for another Big Ten matchup. But we're going to see them at the beginning of the year face Indiana, and I think that's going to be a tough one. And then, again, you talk about them playing Rutgers. You talk about them playing a team like Michigan. Michigan's not ranked right now. They're stealing to find a way to get back in there. And as your hat mentioned, we're going to see them on the 21st of January head to Ohio State to face that. I mean, when you look at the schedule in January and you see all the Big Ten games, it just gets exciting.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to find. And I love the thrift hat, by the way, because you'll see most of the stuff we get here are always thrift store finds. You got to be thrifty on the mic and thrifty with the threads too. So I love it. This is fantastic. As for Wisconsin, this is the third overtime game that they have had so far this season. They obviously won this one against Iowa. They did beat Marquette in overtime at the beginning of December, and then they did lose to Kansas, but they did take the third team in the nation at that time to overtime and lost by 1. This team is very interesting, and just like you mentioned with the Big Ten, this is a team where both you and I did not have very high. Now, granted, we also didn't have a team like Maryland very high either, but this just shows how deep this conference is. And when we get into these games in January, I think it's all. I don't think we're going to get to the part where it evens out. I think it's just going to add even more chaos to the mix, Steve.
Yeah. The only question I have about Wisconsin, and it's more only because I haven't watched them play enough, is that do they have the depth in their rotation? I know they're going to rotate people in, but are they going to wear down as Big Ten play proceeds? I don't think they're going to get out muscled. I don't think they're going to get intimidated. I think they've proven that in their games. I mean, certainly against Kansas. If anything, Wisconsin kind of manhandled them, in a lot of ways. So we know they're not going to get pushed around. I just don't know if they have an injury, can they really weather that? But it's still early. They've proven so far that we need to pay attention to them. I'm sure we're going to do that here on Slasher U.
Absolutely. Let us know your thoughts in the comment description below. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. It definitely helps us out. And thanks for watching Slasher U.